Well, the Attorney General of the United States has made it a priority to proactively pursue fraud associated with coronavirus scams and the pandemic. And U.S. Attorney Bill Powell has appointed me as the point of contact and the coronavirus fraud coordinator for the Northern District of West Virginia. Nationally speaking, we've already seen instances of fraud relating to the coronavirus pandemic. In West Virginia, we've yet to see any complaints that appear actionable thus far, which is good, of course. But in Texas, the Justice Department and U.S. Attorney's Office have already filed a civil suit to stop a website from selling fake vaccines for the coronavirus. And we anticipate lots of similar scams around the country and here in West Virginia as well. That's correct. Part of the effort from the Attorney General all the way down to the U.S. Attorney's Office levels federally is to fight not just traditional fraud associated with coronavirus, but also price gouging. We're seeing and we anticipate about three major types of fraud associated with the coronavirus pandemic. The first is healthcare related, particularly as it relates to testing for the coronavirus, treatment of the coronavirus, or even cures for the coronavirus. I hope everybody by now understands there is no cure for the coronavirus and there's no vaccine available for the coronavirus. However, there are scammers that are already trying to sell a snake oil version of that kind of thing online. Another type of fraud that we are seeing and anticipate is associated with financial assistance. As people know, Congress is prepared potentially to pass a stimulus package where people can get money to help with financial burdens. No one will call them, no one will call residents or citizens to ask for their bank account information or personal identifiers to get that stimulus money if it's passed. By the same token, scammers are trying to reach out by robocalls or phishing scams, emails, unsolicited emails, to try to solicit the same kind of information under the guise of giving potential financial relief, debt relief, mortgage relief that may be attractive to people who've lost their jobs or are struggling financially. Another major type of scam that we're seeing and also anticipate as it relates to the coronavirus pandemic is for charities. There's a lot of charities that obviously are addressing the issue in a number of ways, both from food banks to healthcare related charities. A lot of scammers will take advantage of this opportunity in the crisis to create fake charities and solicit money. And we just urge people on that front to vet and to really research any charity or crowdfunding site that you might be interested in giving to. Well, there's websites available like Charity Navigator, for example. You could go to the Better Business Bureau website as well and call their number also to research charities. There's other ways to approach it. My recommendation, my personal recommendation, is to only trust reliable, well-established charities and to be very leery, at least, of charities that you've never heard of or that seem to pop up just as it relates to this pandemic. Well, a few things. One, if anyone has any, if anyone experiences any fraud-related activity or gets solicited in a way that sends up red flags, we would encourage them to call the national hotline or email the National Disaster Fraud email address that we've provided to report that. We are going to proactively and aggressively pursue any fraud associated with this pandemic, which we all, as an office and my U.S. Attorney Bill Powell, all believe very strongly it's a despicable, egregious act to take advantage of the vulnerabilities and fears of people during this crisis for their own profit. So our office is going to pursue these cases aggressively, and we really encourage people to report them immediately. We're working with the West Virginia Attorney General's Office and our other state and local and federal law enforcement partners to address these cases and investigate them. We really encourage everyone to be vigilant as it relates to these kinds of scams. I can also give some other just tips for people to bear in mind. We want to encourage people to not give any personal identifying information or bank account information in response to any unsolicited calls or emails. That's a great way to lose money or be a victim of identity theft. And that kind of thing happens, unfortunately, with these kind of disaster-related scams frequently. You can't buy tests for the coronavirus online. There's no cure for the coronavirus right now or vaccine. So we just, if we want to encourage people to just ignore any calls or emails or advertisements for those kinds of products. And just be wary of any offers for money or assistance, again, which require you to give something in return. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. That's right. We want people to use their common sense and realize that any time that there's a crisis or emergency like this, there's unfortunately an army of con artists and scammers that want to take advantage of the vulnerabilities of people, again, for their own profit. Yeah, I think people need to understand that even sophisticated, well-educated, young people, old people, anybody can be a victim of a scam. And so there's no judgment on the part of law enforcement for those who are victimized by these scams. And it's vital that they come forward and report them immediately, because if they don't, other people can be victimized too. And the scammers aren't successful unless they have a broad array and quantity of victims. That's part of their mission, their strategy. And so it's really important that everyone not just be vigilant in their own personal affairs, but also recognize that just like with our social distancing measures and the protective measures that we take to protect other people, that reporting about these kind of fraud scams to law enforcement is also important to protect other people as well. Yeah, so in the past 20 years in particular, especially as the internet has been a great facilitator of fraud, virtually every time, actually every time that we have a national crisis like a hurricane, or in this case a pandemic, or other difficult circumstances where it's a drain on resources, it creates fear and uncertainty, it creates vulnerability in a certain segment of society. As I said, there's a group of con artists who can, in the comfort of their own home, can rather easily set up systems, be it robocalls, fraudulent websites, and the like, to make money really quickly and easily, and then effectively pack up shop and move on before being detected. And that's why a really quick response on our part and on the part of those who see this is really critical. But the reality is there's just a segment of society, there always has been, who want to take advantage of the crisis for criminal gain. And the internet allows them to do it rather easily. And so by the same token, we can't combat it effectively unless we use the same tools and do it in a very efficient and responsive manner to take those criminals down.